Okay, we're recording. Hello, I am Danielle Piper. Today is December 12th, and we are starting for December. Get over your damn self, making sure no kids are in the room. And so our trainer for this book, the first one, is Vicki Bartlett. And I don't know if you probably know her, but if you don't, let me tell you just a little smidget about this woman. First of all, one thing that I learned about her story is that she had a nice big corporate job and prayed and prayed and prayed to no longer have that nice big corporate job. And her prayers were answered in a way that felt kind of cruddy at the time. But she was given the gift of Arbonne really like while this was all happening. And so here she is a year later, right? Isn't it a year? It's 2 years later. Oh my gosh, 2 years later. And she still has that passion and that hope, and I think it's fair for me to say, like, it's kind of come and gone and grown and evolved, and now tonight you're going to be leading us through a book that you really enjoy, right?
I do enjoy this book. Yeah, I've read the last one, but the one even before this. Yeah, this has been great. I got through the first two chapters of this one, and she is super sassy, so it's fun.
I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to myself, and I'm going to let you take it away from here.
All right, perfect. Okay, so the book is Get Over Your Damn Self. So that starts right there, and she prefaces it with, she's going to be brutally honest with us, and she is, so hopefully nobody's offended, but I don't do any swearing in this. I don't take that from it, but so I've read the first, or actually I'm using an Audible. I'm doing Audible, and I was telling this to Nair. I like doing Audibles now because I can listen to them in the car and I get through books a lot quicker and I can read multiple. But when I do training, I like to write in my books, and I can't do that with an Audible. So I don't feel quite as organized as I do when I have my handwritten in my highlights and stuff. But so I'm just going to kind of go through some of the pieces that really spoke to me in the book. And what I would love to hear from anybody as we go through this is if there's something else that spoke to you, because we all take something different away. But the first thing that stood out to me that she says right away, and hearing her say it versus even reading it was really cool. She says, "Congratulations, you are the CEO of your own business." And yes, we all know that. We all know that we're starting a business. We're told you have your own health and wellness business. And I don't know that we always think that way, though. We hear it, but do we listen? Do we take it in? And frankly, I think we should all get that like tattooed. Anybody who starts a network marketing business should get, "You are the CEO of your own business," tattooed on their forehead or on their arm or somewhere that you can see it. Or wear it around as a necklace for like the first 6 months so you can remember that it's really a business. And ultimately it depends on what your goals are. So you may have smaller goals, bigger goals. So that does tie into what you're going to do with it. But I think this is a major mindset that many of us, and me included, didn't start out with. So even though I knew that, it didn't stick with me in a way that I understood this to be a business that I'm owning. And she talks about CEOs of bigger businesses, so the Targets or whatever, Walmart, just those big CEOs, and what they do to build their businesses. And they show up, they work hard, they arrive on time, and they come early, they stay late a lot of times. They have a business plan, they do goal setting, they're consistent, they have a work ethic, and they do those things. But there's a difference between those CEOs and us being CEOs. The difference is that the benefit and the goals for those other CEOs is not for them personally, it's for the business. So it's for Target, it's for Walmart. It's not their own personal goals. It's nothing to do with them, frankly. It's all about that business. So this is ours. It's all about us. What do we want to make of it? What do we want to get out of it? And what are we going to do with it? The other piece there's a couple pieces, but the other big piece I think is the time leveraging. So I talked about what those CEOs do. They come in early, they stay late, and that turns easily into a 70, 80-hour job for many of those folks. And that's tough to get to do anything other than work, and I'm generally a very good salary. So the time leveraging is something for the network marketing that you can get that kind of work done when you start teaching and training other people to build their own businesses and be a CEO for themselves. That positively impacts your business. So it's not you pushing to them, it's not them pushing to you, it's working together as a team. And there, while you have your own individual whys and goals and things that you want to do, sorry about that, there is a goal that we all want to be MVP. So we all work together to be MVP, which is it's a beautiful thing. And then the salary is a bonus. So those CEOs do make a good salary. But frankly, in this business, if you do this right, you can make way more than them, working way less than them, and then have this beautiful community of people who actually care about your goals and want to help you achieve those. And then you can do the same for them. It's really quite amazing. But you need to dig. You need to dig really deep, and you need to stretch. Success in this business doesn't come by snapping your fingers. It doesn't come from banking on your team to do all the work and kind of float you through. It doesn't work that way. The nice thing about Arbonne is they won't let you do that, but it's still work. It's still work. The process, and I know many of you have heard this already, but it's kind of cool to hear it from someone else from a different network marketing business. So a little bit of a different twist on things, but really the same message. So it means that we're doing something right. But the process to get there is what's simple. So follow your leaders. Follow the process that's been created for you. It's already been done. It's proven. It works. It's been built for you. But be prepared to put in the energy, the effort, and the consistency to actually get to the next step. So take a deep breath. You figured out you're a business owner, and then you do your due, right? But still, it does come back to that same question. This is the other standout for me, that it does. And people still, there's lots of opinions out there about network marketing. And the $1 million question that she talks about is, well, if it's so simple, why aren't more people successful? It's a good question. And there are reasons. And she lists 4 different reasons why people would fail in this business. And again, she says a lot of the same things that we already say and we talk about with our leaders in our upline. But think about these as I go through them. Do any of them apply to you? Pieces and parts of all of them? Some of it? Someone you know, someone on your team? So for me, awareness is the first step in moving past or overcoming any one of these things. Once you acknowledge it, you can then sit back and say, okay, so now how do I make this differently? How do I improve it? How do I fix it? Whatever you may want to do. But the first thing she says that leads to people not succeeding in this business is not coachable. So not following this. Why are you smiling at me, Danielle? Not following the system. And it could be to a number of things. Ego. Hi, that was me. 1000%. And not in a way that I was like, I'm better than you. It's just, I thought I knew everything. I was successful. Why can't I do this? But lack of trust. So is this really going to work? Is this really what they say it's going to be? And fear. And yep, that was me too, some fear. So learn the process, trust your upline, and then customize, then make it yours. But learn what you have given to you and then make it yours after that. So the second reason that people don't succeed in this is mindset. It goes back to the not treating your business like business. And most of us just don't realize, it's not like I don't think there's a lot of people who are like, oh, get rich quick, yay. But I think there's a lot of us who don't realize all that has to go into this, how much work it is to be successful. You're still working. You're actually running a business now. You're managing this business. So there's still work involved and necessary to get to the success. So I think we underestimate what it takes a lot of people to actually become successful in here. And one of the things she talked about was, think about a retail store and their flashing open sign. Put that in your brain. Put their flashing open sign in your brain. So one of the things she says, when you're not, because we're network marketing, so we're not a store that people can walk into, we need to be talking. We need to be communicating. We need to be talking about our business and talking about what we do and what our products are regularly. So that open sign needs to be on constantly. But that was a moment for me. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta pull this switch and my light's gonna go on. Like I do at our auto shop. We have a little open sign. I'm gonna do that with my brain. The third thing that she says that people fail this with is not willing to get uncomfortable. And that's, true for me too. Having been successful and being the person to go to for questions, it was hard to be the person who's the newbie, basically. How do I ask this question? How do I do this? Some people have the gift of gab, and I'm not antisocial, but some people also have no fear. But there aren't a lot of people who have just the perfect match of skills and gifts to be perfect at this right out the bat. So many times, and this was me, people spend time preparing to be prepared. I did that a lot. So just preparing, getting things ready. Okay, I'm almost ready. Let me redo this. I'll do this ready. So the mindset to keep is earn as you learn. So talk as you go, ask as you go. Don't always be prepared. And I think people appreciate that. And it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that question. Give me your number. I'll call you and I'll let you know what that is. So it's easy. It's okay to say, I don't know. And it's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable and say, this is new. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Can I talk to you? Just do it. Do it. You'll get better and better as you go. And then the last thing that she talks about is not being hungry enough. And I love, if you have the Audible, the way she says the word hungry is great. I mean, she compares it to not having carbs for 6 months hungry. So you got to be hungry. So what she's saying is there are people out there that in the business here, and we do all the right things. So we follow the processes, we're engaged, we're consistent, we're coachable. But then life happens and the business gets pushed aside and loses the priority. So there's something there that you're not hungry enough to keep the priority where it needs to be in order for the business to keep growing. But literally and figuratively, that hunger is an analogy for your why, which we will talk about in just a moment in the next chapter. But before moving on, like my personal take on these things that she talked about is, if you find yourself in there, in any of those 4 things, pieces and parts of it, any of it at all, give yourself some grace. So don't beat yourself up. The first step is recognizing, but then she says, put your big girl panties on. That's what you need to do. Put your big girl panties on. Ask for coaching, ask for help, try new things, offer to help others who may need it, even if you don't think you know what to do to help them, because you all know something I don't know. So there's always something you can help me with. And then your self-development. So, keep doing your self-development and then do your do. I just did. My daughter was listening to this with me, the first chapter, and when she said, put your big girl panties on, oh my God, she cracked up. That was just the best statement ever. It was great. So then I was playing it again tonight, and she's just over there cracking up again. It was so funny. So, and I'm watching my time too. Okay. So the next chapter was really all about your why. And this is huge. This is one of the biggest pieces for everything. Why do you do anything? Having a big why that you're comfortable with and that you actually know helps you succeed in so many different areas of your life. But your why is what keeps you showing up for your business day after day, week after week, month after month. So there are so many things around us, right? Screaming for attention. And if all those things can easily take your attention away from your business, and it's kind of showing that you don't really want to do your business, you're not going to do your business. And it never becomes the priority it needs to be. And then this piece of it is so relatable to me. It turns into this vicious cycle. So this is me. Oh my God, I'm not working the business because I'm not tied to something. I'm not tied to something I really want. I'm not working the business. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm beating myself up because I'm not working my business. But I'm not working my business now because it's about guilt and failure, and I'm failing at this and I'm guilty. And now I'm beating myself up because I'm not working my business. Oh my God, does that sound familiar? Have you done that before? I mean, I think we've all done that at some point, right? It's okay. So again, grace, give yourself some grace. Figure it out. Take some action. It's okay to say, what the hell am I doing? and then stop, refocus, figure it out. And again, you got to kind of dig in there. You got to go deep. You got to figure out, what is this? What is this? What am I doing? And I think the other piece about this is that that a lot of people don't do, is focus on themselves. So the why, your why can be about you, just you, and only you. It doesn't have to be about your husband, doesn't have to be about children in a different country, doesn't have to be about animals and shelters. It can be just about you. And I think there was a great example in the book that she didn't talk about what the actual why was. But this example, there was a mom who was doing this business, doing a network marketing business because she wanted money for college for her kids. And ultimately, that's what she thought her why was supposed to be. So because of that, she wasn't inclined or motivated or compelled to do what she needed to do to get the business successful. So when she broke it down and she spent some time kind of digging a little bit deeper, she realized she wanted to do something specifically for herself and not for her kids. Yes, that will help her kids, but it was for her. And it took some time for her to say, okay, that's all right to be me. So she refocused and then she had some success. And I think what sometimes we forget too, that our why, it's fluid. You're allowed to change it. It changes as you change. It changes as you grow. It changes as your seasons change. It's going to change when you accomplish a goal that really gets to your first why. You're going to need a new why. So it's good. So just be okay with that. But sometimes it goes back to you. It really needs to start with you. What do you need? What do you want? And once you get what you need and what you want, the rest starts to fill in a little bit more organically. But be selfish. Be selfish. And there are people at all different levels on this call right now. So that first why and that second why could have been achieved by now. So figure out where you're at and be okay with that. And maybe your why is too far ahead, and this will help you say, okay, maybe I need to back it up a little bit and refocus, and maybe that's too much right now, because then it becomes overwhelming, and then sometimes it pushes people to be stagnant versus growing. But she uses the analogy like an onion, and I've had this experience of the onion peeling and going deeper layers. Keep asking yourself, why is that? Why is that? Why is that, Danielle? Why is that? So I have to say, if there's anybody who needs help peeling the layers, understanding how to ask yourself more questions to get deeper into that, Danielle Pfeiffer is a perfect resource, because she will ask you the questions and help you go, because you're going to be stumped at some point and go, I don't know why. And that's okay too, because it's making you think differently about why are you doing what you're doing. But once you pin down your why, oh, you know what, before I do that, there was another example, which I thought was really great. She talked about a woman who her goal was she wanted to make money. That was her why. I just need to make money. And well, why do you need to make money? And she says, for a safety net. Well, what's the safety net for? Like, what do you need a safety net for? Why is that? And then she had had a divorce where the husband took everything. So she got nothing. So she was left in a very bad spot. Now she's remarried, and she had this fear of that happening to her again. So they dug farther than that. So it's not even because, so I would have stopped right there. Okay, so she's worried about this next level of, this marriage that she's not going to have, what she needs if something were to happen. It was so much deeper than that. It was about her needing to be self-sustainable regardless. So no husband, no nothing. All of that was actually irrelevant. It was her needing to be responsible and wanting to be responsible for herself. So that's how you need to dig to get to your why. So once you pin that down, you do need to set some goals. And this has been an area for me too, where it's in my head and it's not detailed out. And she has an analogy of eating the elephant. So your elephant equals your goal. It's huge, right? So elephants are big. Goals should be big. Make them big. Dream big. But sometimes that can be like, oh my God, I can't do that all in one spot. So to make it more manageable, eat that elephant one bite at a time. So break them down, make them smaller. Bite-sized steps to make it more doable. And there's so many ways to do and create your goals and track them. And she specifically speaks to SMART goals in the book. And you've probably all heard of SMART goals. So S is smart, is specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R is realistic, and T is time bound. And those are all very important things to think about, that you have goals that you can do, they're realistic, you can measure them so you can track the success, and that you have a time tied to it. There are other ways, and just for me personally, I love so you might have heard of Brendan Burchard. He's an author. He has a YouTube, yes, I do love him too. He is so good. He has a YouTube video out there for dumb goals. Go look at that. It's just fun. So D is dream driven, U is uplifting, M is method friendly, and B is behavior driven. So I won't go into all of that, but it's just different ways to dream big and figure out where you want to go and how do you want to get there, and ways to keep track of that. With all of that said, we have tons of resources. So talk to us, talk to your upline. We have all sorts of methods that we can help you with too, in keeping track of things and documents to help track it. So the last thing that stood out to me that I really enjoyed, because this is something that I've actually spent time recently doing before I read this chapter, but this is helping me actually further that along a little bit. So I've been recently posting on Facebook about my whys, and it's turning into a series, a 3-part series so I have to post my 3rd part. But I thought I had my why, and it hasn't been driving me the way I was hoping it would drive me. So I needed to take a step back. So she has this whole set. She says, don't go beyond chapter 2 until you do this exercise. So it's kind of a journaling exercise, and she has 4 questions that she asks, and she recommends you do all this work, and then you read these over every single day for 3 weeks. And it kind of goes back to, I think, gratitude journaling and that kind of stuff. But the question she asks, first one is, what is your why? And remember to peel the onion to get down to your real why. 2, why is this so important to you? Be very specific. And how do you see this changing your life? How do you see it affecting your family? And how do you see it helping you get to where you want to be? The 3rd one is, if you don't achieve your why, what is the pain that you'll experience? What's the cost you will pay in your life by not taking action to build the business? And flesh that out. It goes back into the more detail. Like I said, for me, I just spent, it's all in my head. I'm going to get there. I'm going to be RVP and there's nothing behind it to help me actually track it and move it and make it happen. And then what will you and your family miss out in life? How will this affect your confidence and your self-esteem? And her last question was, look ahead 5 years into the future. And if you don't achieve your why, where will you be? What will you have given up, all because you didn't follow through and take action on what was important at that time? So I love that. So I'm in process of doing that right now. And I've been, again, like the gratitude journal. So I've kind of tied those together into one thing. So, and we all know Rachel Hollis, and she's going to be speaking at GTC. And she has her method of tracking gratitude and goals and dreams. And I think all of this kind of ties together, so that can be put into a very nice package for any of us to use, so that we're, more consistent, more organized, and then just really focused on what we need to do. And we can go back and look at that and say, okay, I've got this lined out. I know exactly where I'm going. And then the last, she had a quote in there that really spoke to me. And I think we forget this too. So, I think she said it was unknown who said it, but she says, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like living like most people can't. So that's it. That's the statement. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it says it all, because that's where, that's true. That's exactly what we need to do.
Thank you.
That's what I got. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I don't think it was by accident that we are doing this in December and that you started us off with this amazing training, because I feel like the words you spoke were like the perfect words to get us started for the next year.
Great. Thank you.
And like what we do this month is going to just start 2019 in a better spot. So that was a phenomenal training, Vicki. Thank you very much. You said a couple of things. I took a couple of notes here that I wanted to jump in on. Oh, what should our tattoo say?
Oh, congratulations. You are now the CEO of your own company.
Okay. It's cost $49. I was just saying to a woman today that I think it should cost more because you spend $49 going to Panera with a
Right.
like my family of 6 spends $49 going to Panera.
I know. It's crazy,
So
isn't
I
it?
waste that money like that. So when you spend $49 to start a business, like that's not enough motivation to do anything. Like that's like buying a candy bar or a couple of them.
Agreed.
So I love that. I mean, I'm not I'd get a necklace, but having people realize what they're doing with that $49 is kind of hard when it's only $49. Like if you had to spend, $4,900 to start this, I bet you the people who started would be working,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was one thing. The other thing I have, when you said you're not hungry enough, I did not listen to Audible, so I don't know how she says hungry, but it made me think of Rita Davenport's training, her famous training that everybody loves. If you haven't heard it, we'll post it in the multi-region team page. Jesse recently posted on a box that some of us are part of. But I love how Rita talks about, you have the business you want. Like you might sit there and say you want more, you're not where you want to be, but you have the business that you want enough that you're willing to work for at this moment. And I was going to bed last night and I said to Jim, man, I listened to a training today and I've heard this training a million times, but she says we have the business we want. And that just really makes me question, what do I really want right now? Like I say I want,
Yes.
you might, the same thing, you might say you want it, but when it comes down to it, are you willing to work for it? So I thought that was a neat parallel to that training that many of us had just listened to. So thank you very much for sharing that tonight.
It's my pleasure.
So next we have our Discover Live, and it sounds like a really good one. I love the picture of the woman doing a plank and her muscles. I guess she's a personal trainer, sharing her story on the Facebook Discover Arbonne Live page. And then 9:30, I don't know if Whitney Haynes is training or if Jill Lyons is training, but either way, I'm pretty excited to hear. So 9:30 on our Nation Call. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night. And thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Tessa, for giving us your mama. Okay. Night, everyone. Have a great week.